Right, well, before I begin, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to German over there and Noemi for gracefully giving me the honor of delivering this speech in their stead. When they asked me to do this, they told me to make the class proud, and I can assure you now that I am under no pressure at all. So, good afternoon, dear principal, IB coordinator, teachers, parents, and current IB students, you poor creatures. And good afternoon to the class of 2013. Allow me to start off with the most basic illustrations. We made it, we survived. We endured the relentless assault of the International Baccalaureate, and we overcame. If there's nothing else to be said, let it be the fact that being here today is an empowering moment indeed. Considering that 3 years ago, when we were just a cluster of innocent little pre-IBs, I doubt many of us could have envisioned us this day, being declared official IB graduates. After all, in pre-IB, my greatest concern was to avoid being yelled at by an older student if I was too early in the lunchroom. In IB2, my concerns became somewhat different. Concerns such as finishing 4 different assignments in one evening for the next morning. Now, long nights may have been plenty, but 3 years have gone by incomprehensibly fast. But before I go any further, please allow me to clarify something. Our IB years may have gone fast, but they were not easy. Not by a long shot. I mean, we were in some pretty dark places at times. But when the hours seemed darkest, when we found ourselves in the throes of such debilitating despair, when all hope seemed utterly lost, our beloved IB coordinator would approach us with a comforting smile and tell us, "Don't worry, it only gets worse from here." And of course, she wasn't entirely wrong. It often did get worse. I won't lie, at times and probably many in my class felt like giving up. Yet I prevailed. We all prevailed. And yes, one might say that we survived, but I think that surviving would be the wrong word to use. We did much more than just weather the past 2-3 years. When failure came a-knocking, we said, "Not today." Not any day. When we were told to brace ourselves for coming challenges, we didn't just sit there and clutch ourselves, hoping it would all be over. No. When others sat, we stood. When others stood, we stood out. When others stood out, we became outstanding. And when others dared to become outstanding, we became their new standards. Together, we endured. We emerged the smartest we've been, the most creative, the most engaged, and the most sleep-deprived. It's true, many a night I found myself losing valuable hours of sleep, hammering away at my laptop keyboard. Then again, whenever I sat alone in the darkness, with nothing illuminating the surrounding space but the tired white light emanating from my computer screen, frustration was the last thing on my mind. The assignment would be completed, and the next morning we would all laugh at or curse the hours spent typing away. That's what it usually came down to, laughing or complaining. And to be completely honest with you, I tend to only remember the bits with laughing. And it was small occasions like these that really shaped our experience at school. Not necessarily any spectacular or resounding moments or revelations. It was all the hours spent playing cards in the hallway, escaping down to the forum food court to avoid the concoctions of the school cafeteria, and the scrambles in the ITU room, trying to frantically print out some essay or lab report before it was too late. It was these small instances, all the absurd little moments that, in all their seeming mundaneness, constituted the mosaic of our lives. And of course, our time was primarily spent in the classroom, learning all the information that would eventually need to be spit out in our final exams. And that may sound a little harsh, and perhaps it is. Our teachers did teach us much more than just facts and theories or things out of the textbook. They taught us to be true to the IB mission. And as that very mission statement says, students are to become open-minded, inquisitive, knowledgeable, and whatever other things they mention. And in fact, now that I think of all that I've learned over the past 3 years, not even half comes from the endless textbooks I've read, documentaries I've watched, especially in history class, presentations I've seen, or even essays I've written. Most of what I have learned has come from the time spent among such a fine group of individuals. And as cheesy as it may sound, I truly will cherish the memories I have of you for as long as I live. Whether it be setting up Skype conference calls and staying up until the wee hours of the night trying to figure out some Robert Frost poem for an in-class essay the next day, or whether it be leaving the comforts of the greater Helsinki area and daring the wilds of Lahti, one of several notorious parties. You know it's it. But of course, we did learn a thing or two from all those textbooks and PowerPoints. Every single one of us did pass and contributed to a remarkably high class average, which, as our coordinator has already said, was almost a full 7 points higher than the world average. You know, I guess all those lessons were worth something after all. But now, as I stand here and you sit there, we're ready to kiss these walls goodbye, leave off to forge our own tales of adventures and daring blues. I couldn't tell you with any certainty if my knowledge of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle or schema theory will be of any use. And the thing I do know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that the skills we've acquired and the lessons we've learned, often from just learning from our own mistakes, will prove invaluable in the years to come. On behalf of the class, I wish to take this opportunity to thank our families and friends for standing by us at every turn and showing us unwavering support. I also wish to thank our wonderful faculty teachers and our diligent and above all infinitely patient IB coordinator for providing us indispensable knowledge and advice through our IB experience. And finally, purely on behalf of myself, I thank the marvelous individuals who made up 10IB and to whom I will forever be in debt for making the past 3 years truly, truly unforgettable. So long, and thanks for all the fish.